It's the Real Estate Podcast, brought to you by ANZ Home Loans for financial well-beings.
And welcome back to another episode of the Real Estate Breakfast, available on iHeartRadio every morning across this holiday season, and also on Spotify and Apple, and of course wherever you get your podcast from. Well, here we are. We're halfway through the weekend on a Sunday morning. It is the 8th of January for 2023, and coming up, we are heading back down into the time tunnel, this time to August of last year. And this is a good one because perhaps 2023 is the year that you've decided to embark on a real estate career. If you are, and even if you're thinking about entering the real estate industry, the upcoming interview you will want to hang around for, because we're going to be speaking with a real estate agent who is relatively new to the game, under 2 years, and we'll be discussing the pressure that is all part of the job description and asking the question, how scary is it right now for a lot of people working in the real estate industry, given that some agents have turned their backs on real estate as a career? So we'll be talking with Ben in just a moment. As mentioned, it is January the 8th, so if you're celebrating your birthday, happy birthday. You are sharing, this is a bit of infamy, I guess. You're sharing it with Kim Jong-un, the North Korean leader. He is turning 39 today. Would have been Elvis Presley's birthday, and also David Bowie would have been celebrating his birthday if only both of those singers were still with us. And disgraced singer R. Kelly is turning 55, but I guess the birthday cake isn't going to taste too good in jail, where he is serving out a 30-year term.
Informing you every morning from 6:30 with the latest real estate property news 7 days a week, only on the Real Estate Breakfast. It's the Main Centre Forecast with PRD, selling smarter every day.
All right, let's have a look at your weather around the country. We go to Sydney first. Good morning to you. Expecting a partly cloudy, but it should be mainly dry day. Expecting a high of 25 degrees. In Melbourne on your Sunday morning, expecting sunshine with 32. Brisbane, a possible shower with 31. And in Perth today, expecting the blue stuff, blue skies with sunshine, and 32 degrees is your forecast high.
We are just as addicted to property as you are. Every weekday morning from 6:30.
So we are headed back to August of last year when we looked at real estate as a viable career. And it's true that the real estate industry has had an explosion of new real estate people being drawn into the industry. And it can be argued that in order to get into the real estate industry, it's a very low entry point. It's a low bar. At the height of the boom, is there another industry, though, that can match the rewards of working in the real estate sector? So this morning, we are going to talk to an agent who is relatively new to the industry to break it all down to see what this new reality looks like to a new real estate agent. And his name is Ben Matthews in Perth.
G'day, Craig. Thanks very much for having me, mate. My pleasure.
So let's start right at the beginning. What made you want to become a real estate agent?
Well, yeah, thanks for asking, mate. Look, basically, I had an older brother who was in the real estate industry and did really well. And as you rightly said there, pretty low barrier to entry. He got into it when he was 18, did really well. And I subsequently got into a different business and I was in the construction business for about 8 years. I was the general manager of a renovations company. That was a wonderful business in Perth, and it was just time to move on. And I naturally gravitated towards real estate, and certainly the market was awesome about, 22 months ago when I got into it.
Okay, so tell us your age and then tell us a little bit about the process of getting your license and what you went through to get the license.
So, yeah, 28. Look, getting the license is, as you said, a very, very low barrier to entry, which, is a good and a bad thing, I suppose. There is a lot of tick boxes to check through and some dialogue to learn and, writing contracts and that sort of stuff. Mine was involved through an online portal. There's a training facility in WA, a couple of different trainers that are registered to provide licenses. And I basically just worked 12 or 16 hours a day for 4 days straight and basically did a 3-week course in 4 days. And just because I was that keen to get things moving and get it going, and I probably annoyed the hell out of the trainers, kept following them up saying, hey, have you got my exam? It's all done. Can we tick it off? Can we go to the next one? And basically just grinded through it. Not fun, but got it done. And then you really learn on the job, Craig. And I was fortunate to have some good people around me where I learn on the job, quite quickly as well.
That is so important, having the old hands there to help guide, sort of take you under their wings, because it is the unknown factor. Once you get that piece of paper saying that Ben is a licensed real estate agent, because let's face it, we are talking commission-based only. There are two types of people in this world. There are the ones that can sort of look at the commission with enthusiasm, and then there are people that get totally scared and fazed by it. So how much of an obstacle knowing that you're only going to get paid per house that you sell, only on results, how much of a mindset was that for you?
Yeah, absolutely. And it can be a very scary kind of situation. I think a lot of people come from, if they haven't got straight out of school into real estate, where maybe they're living with mum and dad and they don't have as many overheads, they can bear it and, do those years and take it a bit slower, where, myself, I came from a pretty well-paid job and I had, family commitments and housing commitments and, very daunting. And for, I find that very motivating, but also certainly scary, absolutely at the same time.
All right, so you've accepted the commission. Now it's time to get out there and sell your first house. How long did it take you, Ben, to sell your first home and to get some money coming through the door?
Yeah, so look, essentially the way most of the offices in WA are set up, there's a base of $50K a year, which I think legally they've got to pay you, but you have to pay that back, Craig. So I think I got my first listing in my first week, which I was very fortunate to do. I just hit the phones really hard on a bunch of old office databases, and fortunately someone was ready and we listed it, and that was fantastic. Now that probably didn't sell for another couple of months by the time it got prepared and on the market and under offer, and it doesn't settle for a couple of months after that. So, I probably didn't start getting actual payments or pay back my retainer for a good 9 or 10 months, because you have to pay that $50,000 wage back, which accumulates to about $100,000 in commission. And to build up $100,000 in commission and have it sell and settle and hit the bank account, that takes a quite a long process. So it's just go, and you see the results later if you do the work early.
All right, so now we're going to just go further forward a little bit with your timeline. So we're still in the first 12 months, the first full financial year, you working in real estate. How many homes were you able to sell?
Okay, so I guess a couple of quick metrics there. I started in October 2020, so October to October, the first 12 months in real estate, I sold 70 homes exactly. And my first financial year, which was just finished in June this year, sold 97 homes. I think we've sold about 140 odd homes across the board now, 145 homes. So 70 in that first 12-month period, and that's starting from nothing. So the second half of that 12 months probably saw a good 50 or 55, and the first 6 months was the harder graft, that's for sure.
Okay, so Ben, break it down a little bit. So 97 of these homes in your first full financial year. If you feel comfortable, tell us how much money that means that you have taken home.
Yeah, look, Craig, that's not a problem at all, mate. But my average commission is about $10,000 or $11,000 plus GST per commission. They do vary. So I could sell a $200,000 villa where you might charge $8,000, or I could sell a $1 million property in the hills where it might, charge $25,000. So look, the total gross commission was about $1.1 million, and after paying my PA and paying the office splits, I took home about $700,000 on my group certificate.
Wow, so $700,000, but we've also got some marketing in there as well. So how much marketing dollars did you spend?
Absolutely. So, I mean, look, that's super, super crucial. And if you're fortunate enough to have a little bit of capital going into real estate, you have a humongous competitive advantage because, advertising costs money and it takes a long time to build up a little bit of momentum. So if you can invest in yourself and believe in yourself and put some good marketing money out there, which can be scary if you're not seeing the results immediately, then, you've got a great advantage there, and I would recommend it. So I would have invested about $100,000, Craig, to create that 1.1 million of gross commission, which turns into your 700. So I guess take home would be about 600 if you look at it that way.
When you sold that first property, as you say, took a long time for that to sort of go through the stages before you saw the money in your bank account. You would never have been able to forecast where you'd land, in the first 12 months?
Absolutely. No, absolutely not. I mean, I had some goals and, some certain things that I wanted to achieve. But, being new in the industry, you want to set ambitious goals, but, not ridiculous as well. So, I did exceed my expectations, but, certainly had lofty goals to begin with, which I think is a good driver and is important as well.
And I understand that you're also in the master salesperson category, which is among the top 3% of all agents in WA, as well as that you're either going to be the number 1 or number 2 rookie of the year at this year's industry awards. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I've had some notifications from REIWA, who's our West Australian sort of authority in real estate here, and they do yearly awards, and really grateful to be getting either number 1 or number 2 rookie. I understand for this year. It's a nice little accolade, and obviously a lot of hard work goes into it, and a lot of rookies just to get on that list, they've all worked their guts out. So really proud for that to be the case, and certainly the master salesman is probably a little bit more important to me, to be fair, and that's amongst the real top agents that have been in the industry for many years, and that's something nice little recognition to get. We've got to keep working hard and keep pushing and looking after our clients. That's what gets us there, but it's a nice little recognition, that's for sure, and it is appreciated.
So things are going well, and suddenly we have the Ukraine war, the China supply chain issues, building costs, inflation going up. Then comes the first rate rise. What were you thinking after that first rate rise?
Yeah, so look, it definitely was something that was on everybody's lips. There was certainly a little bit of buyer trepidation as well. And, we'd had such a great 1.5 to 2 years that, you never want it to end. We're getting, 50 groups through every house and selling them on the first home open for an amazing price. And that was wonderful. And it was still, it took a talent to get your sellers the best that they possibly could, and not just sell for any price. But, when those rate rises started coming in, it became a bit more, you were thinking, look, the buyer inquiry is going down. Are we going to go back to those 2018, 2019, those years where, everyone knew that the real estate industry was really slow? And so far it's held out strong in WA. Certainly less buyer activity, but the prices are remaining good. And but certainly it was on my mind, that's for sure.
And just finally, before we let you go, Ben, you no doubt are keeping in touch perhaps with other newbies in the real estate industry. What are you sort of hearing from other people with regard to the market now starting to go backwards, people starting to think, particularly if they're not selling too many homes, that they might have to find themselves another career?
Absolutely great question, Craig. And some agents who, maybe were not selling as much but just surviving, and now it coming back a little bit, they're concerned, and definitely you feel for them. And there is some talk of, people leaving the industry. In fact, I have seen someone leave the industry just last week from our office. People are doing it tough, and certainly, we're doing it a lot harder than we were 6 to 12 months ago, and it's taken a lot more work to sell a home. I think hard work will prevail. That's my thought process on that one.
All right, good on you, Ben. Thank you for coming on to the Real Estate Podcast. I'll let you go because you've no doubt got a busy day there in Perth.
Yeah, that's it. Appreciate it, Craig. Thanks for having me on, mate.
We connect you to the best real estate information across Australia. The Real Estate Podcast.